Thanksgiving at the White House may look wholesome, but behind the cameras it's one of the most chaotic, hypocritical, and scandal-filled traditions in presidential history. This holiday has exposed lies, launched national outrage, produced fake photo ops, triggered political conspiracies, and even sent one unlucky turkey flying through the sky in a pair of goggles. If you think Thanksgiving is just about gratitude, wait until you hear what it does to American presidents. Lincoln's wartime Thanksgiving and the pardoned turkey. In 1863, in the middle of the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln proclaimed a national Thanksgiving to be held on the last Thursday of November, a religious holiday turned into a tool to boost morale in a blood-soaked year. Behind the pious language was a clear political goal: remind a divided country that God supposedly smiled on the Union cause. Later, an oft-repeated story claimed Lincoln pardoned a turkey after his young son Tad begged him to spare the bird scheduled for the holiday table. Historians note the tale only appears in print after Lincoln's death and smells like patriotic folklore. Was Thanksgiving born more from gratitude or from wartime PR? FDR's Franksgiving, the year America had two Thanksgivings. Fast forward to 1939. In the middle of the Great Depression, Franklin D. Roosevelt decided to move Thanksgiving up 1 week, from the last Thursday in November to the second to last. The goal: give retailers 7 extra shopping days before Christmas and jumpstart the economy. Instead, he launched a national food fight. Some states followed the president, others refused and stuck to the old date. For 3 years, America literally had 2 competing Thanksgivings depending on where you lived. Critics called the new date Franksgiving, and FDR's 1936 opponent Alf Landon accused him of acting with the omnipotence of a Hitler. Football schedules collapsed, calendars became useless, and families argued over which day to carve the turkey. Would you have followed the president or your own calendar? Bush's Iraq trip and the fake turkey that wouldn't die. On Thanksgiving Day 2003, George W. Bush stunned Americans by secretly flying into Baghdad to eat with U.S. troops. The iconic image from that trip shows Bush in a mess hall, proudly holding a gorgeous, perfectly browned turkey on a silver platter. It looked like a made-for-TV moment of simple presidential gratitude. Then came the backlash. Journalists revealed that the showpiece turkey was a decorative roast prepared just for display, while troops actually ate from cafeteria pans and trays. The bird was real meat, but not the one anyone was served, a centerpiece created for the cameras. Fact-checkers later debunked the wilder plastic turkey rumors, but the damage was done. Critics saw it as the perfect symbol of spin over substance. Was this a moving gesture to the troops, or one of the most cynical holiday photo ops ever? Truman's No Turkey Thursday and the angry poultry lobby. Harry Truman is often, wrongly, credited as the first president to pardon a turkey. In reality, his Thanksgiving drama was about taking poultry away, not sparing it. In 1947, with Europe starving after World War II, Truman's administration urged Americans to conserve grain. No meat on Tuesdays, no poultry or eggs on Thursdays. That meant Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's all technically fell on poultry-less Thursdays. The public hated it, and the poultry industry went ballistic. To calm things down, the National Turkey Federation began ceremonially delivering a live bird to the White House. A PR move, not an act of mercy. Truman did what most Americans would do. He simply ate his Thanksgiving turkey on Wednesday instead and kept the cameras smiling on Thursday. Kennedy's last turkey: good eating, Mr. President. In November 1963, John F. Kennedy received a massive 55-pound Thanksgiving turkey in the Rose Garden, wearing a charming little sign, "Good eating, Mr. President." Standing beside senators and poultry officials, Kennedy looked at the bird and did something unexpected. "We'll just let this one grow," he said with a half-smile, sending the turkey back to the farm alive. Newspapers joked that he had pardoned it, though he never used that word. 3 days later, Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas. The image of the young president sparing a bird marked for slaughter, and what would be his last Thanksgiving, became retroactively eerie. Over time, many Americans came to believe this was the moment the turkey pardon tradition began, blending grief, myth, and holiday sentiment into a single strange memory. Reagan, Oliver North, and the turkey used to soften a scandal. By the late 1980s, Thanksgiving in Washington came with a different kind of heat: the Iran-Contra affair. In 1987, reporters pressed Ronald Reagan about whether he would pardon Marine Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, accused of helping run a secret arms for hostages operation. Reagan dodged the question with a joke at the turkey ceremony, quipping that the only thing he was prepared to pardon that day was the bird in front of him. That year's turkey, Charlie, was later described as having been pardoned and sent to a petting zoo. It was a clever line, but also a classic Washington move. Use a fluffy, feel-good holiday photo op to deflect questions about covert wars, shredded documents, and real criminal liability. George H.W. Bush and the birth of the official pardon with a dark twist. In 1989, George H.W. Bush finally made it official. At the annual turkey presentation, he looked at the nervous bird and announced that it was receiving a presidential pardon and would not become anyone's dinner. From that year on, every president has staged some version of the ritual. The birds get names like Liberty and Freedom, stay at fancy hotels, ride in limos, and sometimes retire to petting zoos, farms, or even Disneyland parades. But there's a grim punchline. These turkeys are bred to get huge fast, not to live long. Many can barely walk, suffer from heart and leg problems, and die within a year or two, even after clemency. The White House ceremony sells mercy, while quietly reminding us how industrial the Thanksgiving bird has become. Slaughtergate and the fake mercy farce. As the ceremony grew more theatrical, some reporters started to pull at the loose threads. During the Clinton years, a young journalist discovered that the turkey being pardoned wasn't even the one in danger of becoming dinner. It was a showbird raised for display, while a less photogenic cousin still headed for the oven. The writer dubbed it the farce behind the farce, and jokingly called the mini-scandal Slaughtergate, a parody of Washington's habit of attaching "gate" to everything. Animal rights groups later piled on, pointing out that the entire ritual distracts from the millions of other birds going to slaughter and turns a marketing event for the turkey industry into a sentimental story about compassion. It's Thanksgiving as political theater, a president rescuing one celebrity bird while pretending the rest of the system is just heartwarming tradition. Supreme 2, the airsick aviator turkey of 1921. One of the strangest presidential Thanksgiving birds arrived in 1921. A turkey named Supreme 2 was sent to President Warren G. Harding by the Harding Girls Club of Chicago and delivered by airplane when flight itself was still a novelty. The girls dressed him up for the occasion: an aviation helmet, goggles, and a black and gold sweater held on with a pink bow. Newspapers loved it. The turkey did not. Turkeys are terrible flyers, and Supreme 2 reportedly got so airsick that the plane had to land early. The poor bird finished the journey to Washington by train. It was pure, roaring 20s PR. A living advertisement for modern aviation, wrapped in feathers and a touch of animal cruelty, all to impress the president on Thanksgiving.